Hello and welcome to this 1v1 on Roanoke with Luxy and Keyser. Both of these players very highly rated, both in the top 10, so things should get spicy. Yeah, very excited to see how Cybrin is going to head up against UEF. As a 1v1 map, Roanoke Abyss is really challenging to play. There are a lot of different islands. 4 main expansion islands, obviously expected to get these 2 islands yourselves. You can try and drop on your opponent's island and skip your own island if you want to be particularly aggressive. That is something that is seen quite commonly. What's more commonly observed is players and interceptors who try and intercept your opponent's air transport as it comes to try and get off the island. And there's also a ton of resources and reclaim on your own island that you want to take advantage of also. So, as usual, there's always much too much to do, which makes a map a good map. But Roanoke Abyss is particularly challenging to play. So looking at Bulldogs first, land factory first, not surprising, you need a lot of engineers. Air factory second, how many PJs is going to go, he should start soon. And I wouldn't be surprised if Keyser is doing a very, very similar build, and as he is. I wonder when they're going to go second land factory, because Lord knows you need it. So transport straight away for Keyser. Luxy might choose to do a different thing, but no, he's also going air transport first. So neither player trying to rush an interceptor to try and catch the air transport of their opponent. And spreading the engineers out and about. Another thing that we often see on this map, which Keyser is doing, is he's actually walking his comm to the expansion island, and I think this is actually a very good idea because it helps you almost certainly lock down this island, because with the comm here, it makes it very, very difficult to raid it, and you can't really lose it when the comm is there, and then you can drop on this island and not really worry too much. It does mean that he gets this island a little bit slower because the comm has a long way to walk. But it does mean he'll get for sure. Oh my goodness, look at him waddle all the way through. He sure does waddle. Move those hips. And yes, Luxy doing exactly the same thing. So very, very similar build order from both players so far. We do have interceptors out, but they look like they're more defensive interceptors rather than being offensive. And hopefully we'll start seeing some action soon. We've got the machine orders down, we've got some PJs coming down. So really trying to secure their islands. 2 land factories for Keyser in his light pale pink. Not a very impressive pink color, being light pale. Should be more hotter and brighter. But I guess that's a personal preference. Naval factory going down first for Luxy, but yeah, the thing about naval factories on this map is, sure, you can rush a frigate, but it's going to take a hell of a long time for the frigate to get to the other side to start causing mischief, so not really a practical way of raiding. If you want to get too close to the opponent, you really needed to build interceptors to try and catch the transports as they were dropping. So far, both players played quite defensively. No shots fired yet, but we do have a frigate out, and that should shoot something soon. Or the first contact is going to be made between these 2 engineers, and yep, they should go to reclaim each other. That's where to do it. But mostly no one has noticed yet, or they will do something different if no one notices. Yeah, the PD wins. So first blood goes to Luxy, and neither player even noticed. Always more important things to do. Frigates coming out, so Keyser still has a window of opportunity to respond to this Navy spam, but it's going to close. It's hard to get Navy out when there are frigates shooting engineers for the naval factories, so he will need a plan. That being said, torpedo bombers will clean up these frigates, if that's the route he chooses to go down. And we have a raid, and that's what I really like. These raids of artillery can be so effective. I'm just worried my sound is too loud. One day I'll be... It's only 5, but... I worry that I'll be overpowered. So we'll figure it out eventually at some point. So the frigate spam coming out. This can be dealt with air torpedo bombers still at this stage, but at some point, if Luxy gets enough cruisers out, and especially shield boats, it becomes very, very, very difficult to deal with cruisers and shield boats. I like this. This is drops. This is just cheeky. Look, it's a max and it's free. And if you have the APM, you should absolutely do this. Drops coming down from Luxy as well, and Keyser is going to go the torpedo bomber route. And we've got these tiny tickle guns from the frigates. If there's too few torpedo bombers, they can deal with it without taking too much loss, but not in a 1-to-1. So yeah, this is perfectly a-okay. He's choosing to deal with the frigates with torpedo bombers, which is fine. He still hasn't gone navy yet, which I think is quite surprising. Usually at least when frigates you scream, but no. Choosing to steal the mexes in the back, and that is rude. Still, no one's noticing this engineer showdown. Whoever notices first will win. And he will get to either steal or reclaim this T2 max, right? He's going to reclaim it. That's okay. I thought he might want to steal it, but if you steal it, he will steal it back, and that's not good. So, this is so cheeky. The APM that these guys have to display to try and deal with this. It's almost like alternating who gets the outer ring islands. It's almost choreographed. But that's a lot of torpedo bombers, and without air control, Luxy will lose this quick snapsticks. The cruiser will get kills, but it will be targeted almost instantly by the torpedo bombers, no doubt, when it's noticed, and it will maybe get 1 or 2 or 3 volleys off before it will die to these torpedo bombers. So one cruiser by itself is not good enough by a long shot. It has to have it's really the shields that you want and friends. So he now has seen that there are cruisers, 3 now. Okay, so now the cruisers are starting to become in dangerous numbers. But what Keyser needs to do is he needs to group up his torpedo bombers and use Shift G. Shift G is the thing where you group them up, you right click on the targets, and then if you push Shift G, then your torpedo bombers will equally distribute their attacks amongst the targets. And no doubt that is what he's preparing to do, although he doesn't have vision of the cruisers, which is kind of disastrous actually, because you can't kill what you don't see, but you can follow the missiles. He has to target the cruisers, or this is a lucid proposition. He might not realize just how many there are, and this has gone very well for Luxy. Keyser definitely had enough torpedo bombers to deal with those amount of cruisers, but the micro just wasn't there. Because you can see that there are destroyers coming out, and yeah, this is actually a nice aspect about what Keyser did. He forced his opponents to build tons of cruisers, and cruisers don't do well against destroyers. So if he plays his cards right, he should be able to overpower the UEF fleet with destroyers, not having to worry about cruisers himself, and just win. And the destroyers are indeed, this one destroyer is indeed chasing these cruisers away, because cruisers are really bad in the anti-ship role. Another drop coming down, these guys are persistent. They're doing really well. This is exhausting to play. If you've ever tried playing a game like this with someone who plays like this, it's not fun. You can't just, they'll constantly raid your islands, and you can't just give up and let them have them, or you constantly find back and forth. It is mentally draining. What is a little interesting though is that neither of the main front islands were contested. Keyser still leaning heavily into torpedo bombers. I wonder if he's gone too far. I worry. I think Luxy is getting a critical number of cruisers, and just one shield boat on the cruisers makes them almost immune to torpedo bombers. Obviously not immune, but the shield will take a lot of torpedo hits. And bringing the torpedoes to the shield boat does definitely mean that things start sinking. So he needs to get the cruisers under the shields, and if you can keep that cruiser count and the shields protected, it's going to look bad for Keyser. It all depends whether or not there are enough torpedo bombers. And I think his shield goes off, I think he's power storing, and that's it. 3 cruisers goes down. Keyser is comfortably in this. This whole fleet will be cleared up now because the torpedo bombers took down the cruisers, and I actually think he was power storing. Doesn't look like it now, maybe he fixed it. But it did look like that shield boat took damage, but that's how you play this. You get your cruisers, or rather you get your torpedo bombers, you target the cruisers, get them all targeted, come in, kill them, snap sticks, and then this entire fleet will get cleared up, and now Luxy is going to be in a very, very sad position. Roughly equal eco, so there's no eco advantage one or the other, but Luxy has had his fleet effectively deleted, and there's a ton of reclaim for Keyser down here, which you'll rapidly enjoy. I would like to see him quickly build a few more land factories, get the engineers out and about, and reclaiming the sort of infrastructure on here for an island. That's a little interesting fortification patterns. Haven't really seen this style before. I wonder if that's effective. I wonder if they know things that I don't know. They almost certainly know things that I don't know. But Luxy is choosing to come in again. He's definitely falling behind in eco now, so that will be a worry. He has the fleet, but Keyser has almost full air control. What is interesting is Luxy isn't even choosing to rebuild interceptors, because interceptors will counter the torpedo bombs pretty fiercely. They can instigate an airfight, which is actually one of the huge advantages, because if you can instigate an airfight over your fleet with cruisers, it actually goes very well. Luxy is in a hard position because he just needs more of everything. It's hard to prioritize. More than enough engineers there, not capping those mexes. Or there, I wonder if they've gone T3 mexes anyway. There are a few T3 mexes on Luxy's mainland island. I guess they're safest. He's gone T2 in his comm. Not 100% sure. Well, this was a bombing rate here, which maybe killed a few storages, and that hardly seems particularly useful. We get Riptide Harass on the side, which is good. Destroyers on the left-hand side for Keyser, which is going to cause Luxy serious difficulty because there's no quick way to adapt to this challenge. His fleet's all the way over here, and he can't quickly respond because he didn't go the fleet route. But for destroyers here, he has cruisers, but cruisers don't do well against destroyers. But he has enough destroyers himself and frigates, I think, to win this fight. But he has to worry about torpedo bombers coming in. You gotta keep moving the fleet, and Keyser's doing a very good job of moving his fleet, because if he doesn't move his fleet, those cruise missiles start taking hits. So what is fun about this map, here's an unbuilt max, is cruisers do so well. The governor features so prominently in this matchup. There's still very much fights along the horizontal line with almost equal sides back and forth. But now Keyser is going to clean up this island with the destroyers, and Luxy has no answer, and this is going to set his eco back much more than it was done before. This is bad news bears for Luxy, and this fleet's coming around the back. But what do we have here? We have a battle cruiser. This battle cruiser will completely clear this up, or any other T2 challenge that Keyser has. To deal with the battle cruiser, well, the torpedo bombers will do just fine, so that will be the worry. But if you can keep T3 Navy coming out, I wonder if it's going to go another battle cruiser. Yes, that's another battle cruiser coming out. I wonder if he will bother going to battleship. He might not need to, not unless Keyser goes T3 Navy. He hasn't gone T3 Navy yet, choosing to stick to T2 Navy. T2 Navy, that's fun to say. But Luxy's in trouble. His comm is out of position. His comm can die here. This battle cruiser should be able to get there soon enough to save him. But if Keyser gets any whiff that his comm is here, he could lose the game. But yeah, economy is still roughly... Okay, Keyser is about 25% ahead in eco. The commander has been spotted, but he should be okay with the battle cruiser, I think. It might be wrong, but I think it's going to be okay. He has to move. It's not a good situation to be in. He's got another battle going down here, another battle cruiser. This battle cruiser will do very, very good work. UAF Navy is a lot of fun. A notable exception in Keyser's build is he hasn't gone for stealth boats. Those mermaids, counterintelligence boats, they can be very effective against unsuspecting opponents. They are countered by Tier 1 scouts, so if you're persistent, they can be countered if you have the micro, and I'm sure these individuals do have the micro to deal with that. But against unsuspecting opponents, those mermaids can cause a real headache and totally shift the fight. A lot of interceptors that should go down here if they take off to the cruisers. The Battle Cruiser should be able to clear up a lot of eco over here. 2 Battle Cruisers coming on the left hand side, so Luxy back in the fight because of Battle Cruisers. Battle Cruisers are amazing. I think Keyser's only chance is to use his torpedo bombs effectively. He needs to take out the cruisers, which he appears to be doing, but he's going to pay a toll. There are enough cruisers here to really take damage, to do damage, but he will take off the cruisers. He'll have some torpedo bombs left. Luxy will need to send more air support to his battle cruiser. He doesn't want to lose this. This is a very, very valuable and expensive asset. He needs this to defend his islands, but if he doesn't do anything particularly quick sticks here, he will lose it. There's a cruiser coming up, but the torpedo bombs are retarded on that cruiser. It will also go down. Keyser thinking better of it. He probably doesn't know what is behind the cruiser, and Luxy's doing a fantastic job of reclaiming his island. The Navy destroyed it, the Navy left, and the Parasite returns. Never die, always come back. If you lose the match, rebuild it. That's the name of the game. So, top island destroyed, second island being destroyed, but still Luxy is ahead in eco of Keyser now. Keyser having T1 Maxes here, I guess you lost them, but having T1 Maxes on this island, I don't know if they've been rebuilt or I don't think they were ever upgraded, so I think the big difference is Keyser might have just ecoed harder on his main island, whereas Keyser has done the same thing. I see 3-4 T3 Maxes, where Luxy has more. So yes, the T3 Maxes are carrying the day eco-wise as far as I can tell. No Keyser's back in the head. It's jumping around a lot. Hey, what can you do? What can you do? It's hard to tell. But, okay, yeah, now Keyser is... Oh, there's reclaim going on. It's hard to tell exactly, but some T1 Maxes on Keyser's side, Luxy just simply doesn't have Maxes on some side. This was too bold. I would definitely not have sent my comp back here. Half health. Okay, he kills the destroyer with overcharge. Necessary to keep the island, but the snipe potential to kill Luxy's comp here is so real. Luxy's chosen to give up air control. I think a good move from Keyser if he wanted to try. It's a bit of a bold move, but he could go strat bomber and yeah, strat him, and the water will not be safe because Keyser already has the top bombers to kill his command if he chases them with the water, and I think that probably would be the winning strategy. A battle cruiser goes down, and that's disaster. These things are so expensive, and if you can keep them alive, they can get the veterans, they get extra hit points, and stay alive and continue to do their work. The second battle cruiser went down, and the third one is going to go down too. This is absolute disaster. You want to be able to kite these, and if you can kite them effectively, as you can do, because they outrange these destroyers, they will do the Lord's work. So the critical blow of losing 3 battle cruisers in rapid succession to this ambush of destroyers against the island. I guess that's what enabled Luxy to not be able to micro his battle cruisers effectively. Decided that he needs to throw in the towel, and losing 3 battle cruisers in quick succession like that is it's bad. It is so bad. Those things are so expensive. Losing 2 T3 Navy boats like that in such succession is really damaging. Even that said, was it a morale kill? Because he has a battleship here, and he has 2 battleships here, and a battle cruiser here. This is enough fleet to hold this off. I don't think it was totally lost. There was a chance he was still in this, I think. Definitely in the back foot, but he shouldn't have lost his battle cruisers to this fight. If he kept them alive, he would have been in a very strong position. With them gone, Keyser definitely has a strong advantage. But I think Luxy's control K here was premature. I think. He probably would still have lost, but I think he still had a chance. Maybe. It's hard to tell, hey. He needed to reclaim this island. I guess it's just exhausting. This map is exhausting, and this went on for 35 minutes, and they decided to throw in the towel. And this is a good game. So I enjoyed watching it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And I just go through the vault and I troll through replays to see if I can find a good one. But if you do know of a good match that is worthy of being cast, please let me know. Send it to me. Put it in the comments to the video, and I will most likely cast that, because I'm always looking for newer and better and more entertaining content to cast. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. That's me done. Bye.